Hey guys, how is everybody doing? Doing good, I hope. Doing real good. It's Wednesday, it's the end of my work day, my salon work day, and I work on my other jobs while I'm at work, which is cool. But I don't know, I was sitting here thinking about keeping it straight, keeping things straight, keeping on schedule, staying on track, um, getting everything done, or staring at it and going, I really need to do that, and you don't do it. Or having one of those mornings where you wake up and you literally get out the door, car won't start, car won't start, car won't start. I'm like, crap, what the hell? And then it hits you, keys are in the house. It's the push button. Keys won't start. A car won't start because the keys are in the house. Go get the keys. So you get to work and your first lady comes in about, I don't know, half an hour later after you get set up, and she's like, I have to tell you, Lois, she says, there's a car out in the parking lot and the door is wide open on it. The driver's side door is wide open on it. And I'm like, okay. And then I'm like, what color was it? She says, blue. And I was like, it's my car. Again, keeping your head straight. It's like trying to decide what all needs to come out of the car. And you get it out of the car and your head's on, hey, I need to make sure I take these bags in later on. I can do that during my break. And then you get up, you get in the building, and you start your day. And you leave your car door standing wide open. I don't know if I've ever done that. I don't know if I've ever done that. I don't think I've ever left my car door standing wide open. But, and then you press on with your day, and that's all you're thinking about is how crazy that is. And when you fight short-term memory issues, and then you fight attention deficit, and then writing things down is one thing, but you got to remember the list. Or writing things down and actually taking care of them is another thing. It is a form of something that you have to teach yourself to do, and it's really hard to do. It's really, really hard to do, because your brain's everywhere, and like talking to a client, and you shift subjects really quickly, and they just kind of like, wait a minute, she just took off on another, it's like squirrel, and off you go on another topic. So it's sad. I mean, I know there's a lot of people out there that don't realize what's going on with them, and it's not every day. Well, I think the first freak out this morning was the smoke alarm. The smoke detector went off, and that hasn't happened in years. I mean, it hasn't happened since I firmly believe my deceased father was messing with me, because it would go off and go off, and then it just shut off. Well, it did it this morning, and it stayed on just long enough for me to get to the door and open the door, and it went off. To open my bedroom door, and it went off. And it's like, okay, this is interesting. So you're smelling around the house, you're thinking about it, and everything looks good, and you go back to bed. So that sets off your thinking from there, and then it rattles you, and then your brain won't shut off. And but making lists and keeping calendars, and keeping things straight, keeping things straight. And not overloading yourself at the same time, because somebody with a situation where their mind is like this, you get overloaded and you get overwhelmed quickly, and then you can't even remember what you were talking about. You can't even remember some of the things that you needed to do, say, mid-conversation. Yeah, I know it happens to a lot of people. But brain fog is a true thing. Brain fog happens in a lot of different cases, not just COVID related. It's happened a good chunk of my life. It's happened to me. where you can't remember what you were talking about. Like when I do my lives for my businesses, I get lost. I get off track and I'll go somewhere else with the conversation and I need to go right back to this and I don't. And then I'll think about it later and then go back to it. But keeping things straight, it's like having a child who fights attention deficit and they carry everything with them every day because they're going to forget something. You know what I mean? Like, that's why I take a bag to work every day. It's got everything in it I need. And a child with ADD tends to carry everything in their backpack at all times, and everything to class, every class, because they're going to forget something. So, because a child with attention deficit has multiple TV screens going on all at the same time. Okay, that's the best way for me to describe it. Is your head jumps from thing to thing to thing, and you can't stay on track. It's difficult to stay on track, and trying to keep a calendar and trying to keep. I keep an appointment book really well. I just know put it down right then for my salon business, but like. To actually plan out a month and stay on task is not easy. To stay on task, to take the time, look at the calendar, and know what you got to do is difficult. Okay, but again, I had a client up in Nebraska whose son was autistic, and she taught me a lot about how close autism is to ADD and also to I can't think of what it's called, but it's very, the person is very technical, very not organized, very technical, very on track, very I'm always right, kind of thing. They're very smart, but not saying I am, but a child who takes a medication that slows their mind down a little bit so they can function, they're very, very bright. They're very bright. And you just got to slow their brain down enough to allow it to work. To get one TV screen up there instead of 10, or 5, or you just get a phone call from your spouse who's stressed out and got things going on, and you're thinking about that while you're trying to work your day because you're trying to figure out a way to help him out and get on and make that doc appointment for him when you're done with your client. And so there's always something. And I believe a mom is the same way. A mom has 100 things in her brain all the time of things she's got to do. They can't relax. So anyway, my point is, a person trying to keep things straight. Like right now I have a quiet house. Trisha and the kids and Matt went out for a family time, and Jerry's not home from work yet. He's going to be late. And I'm like looking at my house going, I could get so much done. And then I'm like, nah. I got to get on and I got to check a couple of things. And I need to move some stuff to YouTube and so on. Get that out of the way. But I have all day tomorrow to clean. Besides when I get my hair done. So, but keeping things straight. I mean, it's hard to do. It's keeping calendars. I would love to keep a journal all the time. I have my gratitude journal. I have my Bible journal that is a day by day journal, and I'll miss days on end and then go back and catch up, and I'll find that time when I can focus on it and I'll go back and catch up. It's like, anyway, just to help my clients understand how I roll and how things work with me. I'm thinking about you, but I've got all this other stuff going on in my head, but I'll take care of you. My pharmacy clients, my 31 client customers, I'm there for you. I will take care of you. But the brain is always everywhere. No joke. It's always everywhere, and you live your life as a daydreamer. That's what you're labeled back in my day, was a daydreamer. And nowadays they want you tested. They want you everything looked at to because you're a problem child. Well, no, I just wasn't a great student and I couldn't stay on task. I had a hell of a time staying on task as a kid. So, anyway, keeping it all straight in a day. If you're a keeper of schedules, you're a keeper of appointment books, of diaries, of journals, you name it, bless your hearts. And if you stay on it all the time, I feel you. It's that would be wonderful to be able to focus that well and still keep track of everything else going on in your life. And it's not easy. So, but everybody, I'm told time and again I've got too much on my plate, and I don't. For instance, I do get a lot of time where I'm alone and I can work something else or eat. Cleaning, yeah, that's an option, but you head to the fridge. But if you've got something to do besides your day job, and it also expands friendships and acquaintances and all over the country, and you get to know more people by working. I work in MLM company, and two of them, and I don't think I'd ever change that. I really enjoy it, and I get to know and be around more people, and I haven't met them, most of them in person, except my local ladies, and I've made new friendships out of it, and I have new clientele from it as well for my hair business, and it's great. It's a good thing. So, but anyway, the whole point was talking about focusing on your day and how out of focus you can get, and look what happens. Like, it can happen to you when you're driving, things like that. Like your day already got messed up in the morning, so it affects your entire day. And yet you can stop, you can take a breath and go, okay, what's going on, and you have to figure it out. Get yourself back on track and go with your day. Like at work, I'm better if I'm back to back busy at work. I have excess time, then I get off track, or I try and work my other businesses, which is great. But I can get, hey sister, but I can get off track. But you've got to have that ability to get up in the morning, and I'm that person that if I know there's something I'm going to do that day, nothing can distract me from that. Like if, let's say, Jerry calls and he needs me to bring him something and I do that, it's over. The day's done. Life sucks. You go on and you do other things, but you are off task, basically. Like, give me a pair of headphones, crank the music, give me my container full of stuff to clean house, and I'm all over it. Just nobody can interrupt me. You interrupt me and I'm done. So, but keeping it all straight. I mean, I know lots of you out there that have this trouble, and put it in the comments. Tell me if you fight stuff like that, and just let me know if this happens to you, and what do you do to help yourself with it. How do you fix it or help yourself with it, to stay on task and to get back on task. Like I said, if I get interrupted, I'm done. I can't go back to it. It's difficult. So, anyway, keeping things straight, journaling. I've heard great things about journaling from Katie, and I've started one, and that was a month or so ago, and I haven't gone back to it. It's got to sit by me or be with me for me to stay on track. So, but if you know me, you know how I roll. Like my friend Sonia will say, she's used to it. It's like, oh, sorry, I changed subjects. And she, well, I'm used to it. we'll be talking about one thing, and then I would shift and start talking about something else because it clicked in my head that I wanted to talk to her about it. And I totally changed topics. So it's just something that happens, and it's not something you're causing. It's just something, a chemical imbalance that you have in your body. So anyway, keeping it straight. That's what this was all about. Keeping it straight, keeping life straight, keeping your daily tasks straight. If you can do it, keep a calendar. Put it this way. I had a child who to this day still fights a little bit of ADD. He never really had the H side of it unless you wound him up, and then you had trouble unwinding him. So over the years, you just learn ways to help him, to help him stay on track, like to get the homework done. When you have a house that's busy, it's hard to stay focused. Headphones. Put headphones on him, let him listen to his music, he'd get his work done. No problem. Mowing the yard, doing the dishes. When it was his night, he'd have to select his music, get it rolling, and then he was all yours. He would take care of everything he needed to do because he was focused. His backpack was always with him, loaded. He couldn't put it, go back into his locker and get a book. He would forget things or he'd get off track. It's life. It's just the way that's going to be. And it can be caused from traumatic birth, which was a traumatic birth when he went without oxygen for I don't know how long, but he compressed his umbilical cord in delivery, and so he had a moment of the lack of oxygen to the brain. And these children will be called problem children, hyper children, out of control children, spoiled children. Yeah, they are. Some are. But the biggest thing a person can do for a child with ADD or focusing issues is structure. Routine. Always routine. Always have a routine. Don't stray from the routine. Stay on routine. It's the best course of action. Don't rearrange their room. And structure. No joke. Structure is huge for kids who struggle with their focus. So anyway, I'm done with boring you to death. I will let you all go, but let me know what you think, and what do you do to help your child or yourself when you fight stuff like that. And I'm sure there's some silly talk coming, so hey. Anyway, you guys have a great night, and I will talk to you later.